Hello, party people. Hello, it's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I'm here today with project number 5. Project number 5 in our bargain bead box mini series. Here is the plan for today. So this is the plan if you have been following along. Now, this guy right here is kind of a playoff of the last one that we did, but I'm not mad at it because the last one that we did I really liked. Project 4. This one is going to be more of a Y necklace, and I have our parts and pieces here. So we're going to be utilizing more of the raw quartz chips, nuggets, or whatever you want to call them, and then some of those crystal beads. So let's jump down to the mat, get this party started. Alright guys, welcome in. This is project number 5. So this is our plan. This is what we're going to be creating today. Just want to put it out there that we are a working studio and we are here doing work, and we do have animals. This is real live beading over here at Thunder House. So if you hear some animals or some work happening, don't be alarmed. It's fine. This is our project for today. So this is project 5, and these are our beads we're going to be utilizing for this project. Oh, there's one more in there. So we're going to be using a little bit of these crystals, a little bit of these white cylinder beads. I don't know if they said those were checked. Let me check it out. So if you've been following along with us, you know that these are all from May Bargain Bead Box, and matte glass cylinder beads, crystal AB, a 10-inch strand. So it does not say that they're checked, but they're very cute. I like them. It was one of my favorite things from the box. So we're going to be utilizing those. We got a few links to create our piece down here, our focal piece. And there we go. So that's what we're looking at doing today. Going to do some messy wraps on these quartz crystals. We did a little bit of practice with that in the last video. So let's jump down to the mat. I will get this all organized and we will get going on getting our pendant pieces together. Alright guys, here we are down on the mat. Got to get a little sip of coffee and we'll be ready to start this project. So here we are. I have already split all of our beads into our 2 sides according to our design. So I got 3 quartz crystals over here, 3 quartz crystals over here, and then I split the cylinders and these crystals into 2 bunches. These 6 on this side and 6 on this side for our charms, and then this is our focal piece that we'll have to wear wrap. So that's how that's looking. We then have, I am going to use the 22 gauge smoky quartz. I used this in the last video. It seemed to work out pretty good, so I'm going to use that again for my wire wrapping portion. And then this time I'm going to try the 19 strand bead-along wire. This is in the satin silver finish, so it's more of like a kind of a white finish. And I'm going to try that for the stringing portion this time. So let's get on into it by starting out with our pendant portion. Okay, so I'm going to start by arranging my beads largest to smallest, which works out pretty well. I'm just going to put these to the side. Okay, and then I'm just going to get a little bit of this beading wire and we're just going to jump right in. Now I do have, just in case we need, I have some of those 8s from Taylor's Falls Bead Store, the kind we used in the last project, just in case we need a little bit of that. But so here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a loop on each side to hang this by. So this one, the top one, is going to connect right on to this loop, to this link. So I'm going to give it a little larger of a hole, or a sorry, a loop on the top here. Out like that. I'm going to go ahead and connect that on. Grab my chain nose and I'm going to just grab a hold of that. And then we're going to wrap about 3 times. Just like so. Trim and tuck and trim and tuck. All right, so here we are. So that's what we have. And then I'm just going to put my largest crystal on top here. Now this one has like a sideways drill, but that's okay. It's not going to really matter once we get it on there. That is part of working with raw materials. So I'm just going to create a link down here. Okay. I'm going to squish this flat and tuck this all in. Alright. So here is our first one. So now this next portion is up to you. If you want to use a jump ring to connect your next couple of pieces together, that's completely up to you. That's probably what I'm going to do, and that's just going to give it a little bit of movement. So I'm going to bring in some of these 4mm jump rings they provided in round. Now normally I'm not a round jump ring girl, but here we are, when in Rome. So the next portion, I'm going to take one of these 4mm jump rings, open this up, connect, and connect to the link. Okay. Put that guy on there. And now we're going to repeat the last step that we did here. However, I am going to connect this one with another little jump ring instead of connecting it straight on. I just feel like that's going to give it a little more movement, and since this is going to be a Y necklace, movement is important. So now the loop doesn't need to be as big. We can just do an average size loop here. Wrap about 3 times. Give her a trim. I got an excess of tools over here on at the ready. I don't know why. I don't know what I've been doing. Apparently I've been doing some real serious beading. Okay. So now this is this the smaller of the two? You know, I'm actually going to go with this one, not because it's necessarily smaller, but because it's a little thicker. So I want that to be the second one that's hanging down. Okay. And wrap. Down towards the bead. Give it a trim. Give it a squish. Give it a tuck. There we go. And then this will be the second one. Get my 4mm jump ring and Does it fit with a 4mm? You know what? You know, I don't know if it's gonna connect with a 4. Let's move up a size. Let's move up to, this kind of looks like a 5, honestly. Let's move up to a 5. Perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, we're cooking with gas now. There we go. Now this one. Now I feel like I connected that one on with a 4. I don't know. Was it a 4 or was it a 5? Well, we'll try it. We'll try it. We'll try it. Try anything twice. Okay. Looking pretty good. Okay, and then this last one. Now, this last one is going to be a demonstration of how we are going to do these other 12. Okay, so it's kind of how we did them in the last video. Pretty much the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of wire here, go through, and then however you want this to hang, you know, however you want to go with it. I kind of recommend giving it a little spin and seeing which way it wants to lay, because that's always helpful. Then we're going to pull up to create an X. We're going to push that X down with our finger, and we're going to give a little space. You see a little space here between the stone and the X. We're going to give a little bit of space. Then we're going to take our chain nose. We are going to grab right above that little X right there, and giving, you know, a little bit of pressure, we're going to go ahead and make sure we got everything, and we're going to spin it until it goes tight. Now you don't want to overspin it, because if you overspin it, you're going to break your wire. Okay, so now we have something that looks like so. It doesn't matter how many twists you got. If you had too much of space during your X or whatever, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to do messy wrapped here on the top with this excess wire. Okie doke. We're not going to worry about tucking anything in right now. We're going to go back to the top, and we're going to create a loop here. So we're going to give a little bit of space, and we're going to create a loop. Now this one, you could go ahead and you could attach right on. Is that something we want to do? Sure. In which case, I got to back up a little on the plier here to give a little more loop. Need a little bit more loop. There we go. And we're going to wrap to the side, and then we're going to pull this wire towards me, up, to give it kind of an opening situation. And put it through, and there we go. So now we can come in with our chain nose right above, grab a hold of that loop to hold it steady, and we're going to wrap this around. Now if this is, you know, messy, that's fine, because that's what we're going for. We're going to come in here, we're going to trim off a little bit of those wires. And then we're going to come in and tuck everything in so it's not pokey. I got one going one way and one going another way. That's fine. I would like this one to go in a little more. Alright. Those little wire tidbits off the mat. Alright. So now this is our focal piece for our pendant. Looking pretty good to me. So let's bring back in our design so we can see what we got here. Here it is. There we go. That's what we got. We're doing pretty good. So now we got to create all 12 of these guys here. So they're going to be just like that. I'll do a couple more with you and then I'll probably pop off here and create the rest because it is going to take a little bit of time. So here is what we're going to be creating, and we're going to be doing 12 of them. So let's get our wire out. Again, I'm using 22 gauge, and we'll do another example here. Okay, so we're going to put it basically in the middle. Okay, pull these two wires together till they crisscross, creating an X. We're going to push the X down. A little bit, leaving a little bit of space. Grab the chain nose, grab a hold of both behind the X part, behind. Okay, so now my top wire is going this way, so in order to start my spin, I'm going to go this way. Okay, give it a half a spin. It can go a little more. There we go. So now I'm going to take this dish part, and I'm going to go around messy wrap. It doesn't really matter which one you choose to be like your base wire, your 90-degree base wire. It doesn't really matter. Whichever you see fit. I'm going round and around and around. Okay. And then we do the wrap on the top. So now these are going to be threaded on the beading wire, so they do not have to be large hold or anything like that. And we're going to go around a couple of times with this little wire. I'm going to bring my chain nose in here, flatten out that loop, and then I'm going to attempt to tuck all this in. Sometimes if you can't get it tucked in correctly, you may have to do a trim on it. I actually prefer to do a trim on it, but that's just me. Make sure it's all coming together there. Okay, so now here's the thing. I do want this wire that shows that it's going through the to be showing facing forward in the necklace. So in order to do that, I need to take this and give it a half a twist so that I cannot see my mat when I'm holding it in my hand. I can see this if I turn it, but I want to see this front part because this is going to be threaded on, right? So now I'm going to create 11 more of these. Okay, so I will be right back. And we are back. Here we are, guys. I got all of my quartz crystals wrapped up and I got my pendant ready to go. So we are ready to start stringing. I'm going to be using Beadalon 19 strand today. This is the satin silver finish. And we are going to start in the middle. And I'm going to get about 24 inches of beading wire. That might be a little excessive, but that's what I got. All right. I'm going to take this 24 inches and I am going to marry it up. And I'm going to cut it in half. Maybe I am. I gotta get a new cutter. I think I said that last time. Jeepers. Okay. So now I got two sides here because we're going to use two sides. And then I'm going to bring in this side of beads and this side of beads. Okay. We are going to need some crimp beads. And let's see. I'm going to use some actual crimp beads because I think I have those. Yep, I have those in red bronze. So I'm going to use some crimp beads. I'm also going to use some horseshoes or wire guardians. That was hard to close. I don't know why. So I've got a few findings here. And we are ready to connect on to our pendant. Now, I am going to utilize some jump rings, but I do want to use I'm going to use some ovals here in the front to connect on with. So this is a vintage oval jump ring that is twisted, kind of a decorative one. And I'm going to place that on here. And same on the other side. Now you wouldn't have to do this, but because this is a Y necklace, I just am using a lot of jump rings for basically for joints. They'll act as joints to make the necklace easier for it to move, and that is important in a Y necklace situation because it's going to get a lot of movement, especially this piece. And there we go. Alright, so now I have this, and we are going to take our piece of beading wire. We're going to put on a crimp bead and a wire guard. Go through there, and then I'm going to take and put one of the jump rings on there and go back to the crimp bead. So basically we have this situation. And take my crimper. I'm going to make sure it is not twisted. Crimp it, and then turn it sideways and fold it over. There we go. Crimp looks good. I'm going to come in here with a crimp cover. Using a crimp cover is completely up to you. Put that on there. Everything looks good. So that side's ready to go. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So crimp bead, wire guardian, and oop, crimp bead's trying to fall off. Then we're going to go to the other side in this other jump ring and make sure our wire guardian is on there. Go back through the crimp bead. So here is what we're looking at. Come in here. Crimp it. Looks good. Go with the crimp cover, and then we can start our stringing process. Okay. So we are ready to rock and roll. So now this portion should not take very long at all. I'm going to start on this side. Let me get these out of the way. I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to put a few beads on before I trim that wire. So I'm going to go with a tube first and stick that in there, and one of these guys as well. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim this so it's not in my way. And now I'm going to start putting on my charms. So it doesn't really matter the pattern with this. You could do however you want to do it. I'm putting the crystals next to the quartz. And we have 6 quartz for each side. Okay, so you can see how that is going to start to lay, and then right here at the top I'm going to continue that pattern. So I'm going to do another crystal, and then I'm going to stack these 3 quartz right here, just one on top of the other. Right here. So that is how it is looking. I think it's looking pretty smashing to me. So then I'm just going to continue on with this pattern of crystal and then the cylinder bead. And I don't have any more quartz to put on, so just crystal, cylinder bead, crystal, all the way up to the top. I think that these colors are working really beautiful together. And I really like the streamline of the cylinder beads along with the raw quartz crystal. It gives it that texture that I like so much, so I'm really happy about that. Okay, so here is my entire length, and I'm going to give her a measure to see where we're at before I add any other crystals to the end. So by the time we get our clasp on, we're already at 20 inches. So I'm not going to be concerned about using these last 2 crystals. I'm just going to go ahead and end this this part of it. So I'm going to put these to the side. And in order to end it, I'm going to use a lobster claw. And since I'm using jump rings, I think I will just use one of these guys. I'm going to kind of create my own extender chain for this. Not that we would really need one, but just because why not? It's fun. I'm just going to use a regular size lobster here. But this is going to go on the other end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crimp bead and I'm going to take this ring here. Now this ring is a closed ring. Let's see. There we go. This is a closed, soldered closed ring. And I'm going to use that as my ending for this. And I'm going to crimp right onto there. Oh, I gotta have a wire guardian. Hold on one second. Hello, wire guardian. Then put on the soldered ring. And then back through. Okay, and I'm just going to pull that. And so here is what that looks like. Now I got to find that sweet spot for the crimp. I am going to be using a crimp cover, so I want to give myself a little slack. I also want this necklace to have a little bit of slack in it so these aren't sticking straight out. So I kind of got to give myself a little wiggle room here. And once I have that, I'm going to come in here and crimp. Okay. Crimp looks good, pull test is good. I'm going to cut this before I put on, maybe I am, there we go. And I cut this before I put on my bead cover. That one had a crimp bead in it. I got it out though. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and cover this guy. Close them up. There we go. And then this is going to be my extender side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few of these twisted jump rings. Not very many, just a few. And close those up to create my own extender. I do not have an extender that is this antique copper or red bronze color, so I am creating one. That's the moral story. Okay, last one. Alright. So there is that. I think we're looking pretty dang good if you ask me. Zoom ya. Zoom you out. So there's what she looks like thus far. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over here. I'm going to do the other side. It's the complete same as we just did. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Alright guys, here we are. I have strung everything up and the last thing to do, the last bit of business is to put on our lobster claw. So let's do that and we will be done. So I'm going to go crimp bead, wire guardian, and I am going to just crimp right onto this. I'm not too terribly worried about it as far as using a jump ring. It should be good to go there. So now again I gotta find that sweet spot that I want with the crimping. So what I do is I generally pull it tight and then I can wiggle out as much as I need. And I pull the bead up to the middle of the slack that I have. That's probably a little much, and push it back. And then once I got her where I want it, I push this bead up to hold the crimp bead in the center. So then I can go ahead and crimp it. Get this out of my way. Go ahead and crimp it. we go. It is split apart. Then we can go into the side here and kind of roll it over. There we go. Our bead is good. Okay. So then, before I put on the bead cover, I'm going to go in here and trim this off. Push my bead into the bead mat, and then I can just adjust this. There we go. Alright. Ew. My phone is on. Because I am a professional. Here we go. It's probably because I went past the hour mark. I've been doing this for over an hour or two. So, here we go. This is what we got finished up. Okay. Got everything in there. Yeah, looks like. Let's see if it's all in frame. There we go. So, I am very happy with how this turned out. This is the finished product, and this is the design. Again, I think that this turned out exactly the way that I thought it would, so I am very happy with that. There's a lot of movement in the Y part of this necklace, so I very much enjoy that much. Get out of here. And then I did have an excess of 4 crystals because I chose not to, there wasn't enough just with the pattern that I was using. There was no need to continue to put more. And we wind up with a total of, let me give you a measure. Without the extender, we wind up with a total of 20 inches before the Y starts. So that is pretty much what I envisioned. I am very happy with it. I think it turned out really nice. I'll get you guys some photos. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you are, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, make a comment. All those things are very helpful to the channel. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you. I hope that you are all having a lovely, spectacular, amazing beading day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.